Hey guys. Hey, I just wanted to bring to you today 5 tips that I think, in my personal opinion, are good for a financial life to be successful. So I wrote down 5 things I really want to bring to you guys that I think will really help you guys really avoid some major issues. They're kind of generalized, but they're fairly specific. So, they'll help you kind of really set a good foundation, and it'll really help you avoid a lot of pitfalls that a lot of people are really experiencing anymore, especially in our society now. So, the first one I wrote down was I want you to delay marriage. I don't want you to totally avoid it, but marriage is one of those things. It goes back to the old days. And if you pick the right person, that can be it can be really awesome. But a lot of people that get married, um, I know they might not like me for saying this, but some of them might agree. But they get into it and they're like, oh, I didn't realize what I got myself into. Everybody said, well, you should get married. You've been together for X amount of time. You guys seem to do good together. Blah blah blah. There it is. You get your marriage license. You get married. You live with them. Then you find out they don't know how to handle money, or they don't agree with you on a lot of things. Um, there's a lot of other issues. You can use your imagination. It's just endless. So please, before anything like that, take your time. Write down a lot of things that you find you really want in your marriage, and this is going to, honestly, it's going to take somebody probably in their 30s, maybe even 40s, before they really theoretically should be at the point where they are ready to probably do marriage, because you don't know what you want out of life, and your partner probably doesn't either. So that's going to be really important, because you're not going to know what to look for. And divorces are they, you know they can be not so nice, and they can take a financial hit, and they can do a psychological hit, and those things are too very detrimental to your well-being as well. And I'll hit on that later in the video too. So I'm moving along here. The next one is this one kind of ties in the first one too. It doesn't always, obviously, but it's wait for kids. Obviously, they're expensive as hell. Um, and if you don't have the first one in place, the correct partner, um, your life's already hard enough. You're gonna make it very, very hard. You're gonna put the odds against you, because essentially, you're not just there for a pen pal like you were when you were just dating. I mean, you're a team. You're not just there. Oh, well, we're married. Oh, we're just dude raise the kids. No, it's a lot more than that. It's um, changing the diaper at 3 a.m. when you haven't got any sleep. After a 16-hour shift, because you got to pay for the kids, you got to pay for the daycare, you got to pay for the roof over their head. You know, it just never ends. And I think it's just much more suitable for people to um, you want to have your ducks in a row before you do something like that. And I think a good, solid, healthy relationship and marriage can really make that healthy and an easy process. But you want to get to a place where you recognize that person before you pull the trigger, because I mean it's a big deal. I think I read somewhere where marriages have somewhere around a 50% failure rate. And that's not saying that marriages in itself are bad. it's the idealism behind that that's making them, it's so high prone to failure. You know what I mean? So please take your time and write down what you really um, want out of a person. If you can't find absolute yeses on everything for that person, then it's an absolute no. You know, I'm kind of like Mark Cuban on that. I mean, you know, if you can't just slip right into marriage and be like, oh, I'm just gonna waltz right out. You can't just waltz right out of kids. I mean, it's a big deal. It really is. You know, your parents, you know, they push you and they say, well, why aren't you doing this? I'm like, well, it's a bigger deal than what they even put it out to be. So please take your time. Um, Number three, I'm going to try to tie this in. Avoid trying to impress others. I know a lot of people have talked about this before. Dave Ramsey talks about it. A lot of other do. You know, don't buy, you know, stuff to impress others that you don't like. Um, yeah, it's important because you're what a lot of what people are doing when they do that is they're trying to fill this void inside of their soul with materialistic objects, and they want people to give them admiration, and it's false admiration. And what they're usually missing in life, I've found, is it's either self-esteem. They have probably the incorrect partner that's not giving them the correct amount of you know mental I'm trying to find the right word for this. You know, somebody that supports your mental well-being and your self-esteem. And you see how this all spirals into each other. um, you know, like one category, like you build a poor foundation. I mean, it doesn't matter what you put on top of it, it all comes crumbling down like a card house. You know, if you have poor concrete, you know, your floor joists aren't in place properly and your walls aren't built right. It just it you get one storm that comes through and it just wipes it all away. So yeah, buy things that you find really fulfilling and you know will give you a lot of satisfaction for the long term. Not a Ferrari. Um, not not a cigarette rolling machine. Even though, I mean, if you're gonna smoke, that might be a little bit more wise instead of buying cigarettes. Even though you should probably give it up, but I mean, hey, I've been there. That'd be wiser. Uh, yeah, find free things to do. Go to the library. I've read a lot of good books like Psychology of Money. Another one I'm wanting to check out too. I hope my library has. It's called Your Life or Your Money. And man, I'm really excited to read that. There might be some free events. I know if you live like places like I do, there's not a lot to do, so it's really hard. But I like to go for walks and stuff and like cook my own food. It's a lot healthier. You're bonding with people maybe, and you're getting closer together, and you have more time to maybe, you know, sit back, have a couple of drinks, non-alcoholic or alcoholic, whatever, and just get human interaction instead of just being like, you know, on social media all the time. I know you're on it right now watching me, but I think this is good entertainment. So yeah, don't do that, man, because it's empty in the long run. You know, I'll be the first to admit it. I was a spoiled kid, so um, I had a lot of toys that I wanted, but you know, I found that I was I was more and more unhappy the more stuff that I had. And I thought that was a really interesting kind of paradox that I was kind of going into. And I'm like, thinking about it as an adult, I'm like, I wonder if that's going to apply as an adult. And I really believe it does. You know, I started buying stuff, and you see a lot of other people buying stuff, and they go to a job they hate, and they're a slave to the job because of the stuff they buy. You know, you buy that new Camaro, you're you're not paying for it. Your job is paying for it. and you have to be a slave to that job to pay for that stuff that you think is making you happy. Don't do it. I'm going to come out with videos later on how to kind of shift away from that. But I want to move this along here. We're at 10 minutes. Number 4, take care of your health. This is a big one. Robert, why are you talking about take care of your health? What does that have to do with money? What does that have to do with being successful in life? Well, that goes a lot of ways. If you don't feel good, I've met a lot of people that had poor health, and they had they had the worst life, I swear. They could have all the money, whatever, I love you guys. Take it easy.